Hey there, Simpsons fans! Welcome to the Simpsons Hidden Timelines, channel where we explore the eerie, unexpected, and sometimes terrifying predictions buried inside America's favorite animated show. What if the most iconic troublemaker in television history was never part of the Simpson family? No skateboard, no prank calls to Moe, no eat my shorts. Imagine The Simpsons without Bart, not just as a character, but as a force of chaos, heart, and identity. What would happen to The Simpsons as a family? Would they thrive without Bart's consistent chaos? That's exactly what happened in season 34, episode 15, Bartless. And the result is way more revealing than you'd expect. Welcome to the Simpsons Hidden Timelines, the channel where we unlock the multiverse of Springfield, peel back the layers of seemingly silly stories, and reveal the darker, deeper meanings beneath the surface. If you've ever asked, what if The Simpsons wasn't just a cartoon? You belong here. Be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and check out our last breakdown on how The Simpsons predicted Trump's meme coin. Trust me, that prediction will shock you. Today, we're diving into a world where Bart Simpson isn't part of the family. But here's the twist. It's not about erasing him completely. It's about seeing what the Simpson family becomes without him. A perfect life or a flat one? Stay until the end because the emotional reveal might just change how you see Bart forever. This isn't just a what if. It's a mirror to what happens when we take away the spark that makes us feel. This is one Simpsons timeline you don't want to miss. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the illusion, we have to set the scene. Bartless opens exactly how you'd expect, with Bart in full chaos mode, and as usual, Marge and Homer are left cleaning up the mess. Exhausted, frustrated, and wondering if this cycle will ever end, they sit him down on the bed and begin unleashing all the frustrations they've built up over the years. Marge and Homer know they love Bart. After all, he's their son, but after everything his antics have put them through, they come to a painful realization: they don't like him. Marge and Homer are offered a rare chance to glimpse what life would be like without Bart. And so the episode pivots to a detailed, surreal dive into an alternate Springfield where Bart is not a Simpson. At first, it looks incredible. Marge is a top-rated veterinarian, respected, accomplished, and fulfilled. She's no longer defined by stress or chaos. Homer, he's living his dream, running the soundboard at a massive sports stadium, fulfilled by every buzz, cheer, and chant. Their relationship, it's strong, romantic, even playful. They flirt, they dance. They aren't surviving, they're thriving. Lisa, without Bart's distractions or competition, flourishes. She has the full attention of both parents. She's confident, articulate, and seemingly well-balanced. Everything is clean, organized, optimized. But Bartless doesn't stop there, because soon, the perfect life begins to feel too perfect. The colors feel flatter, the pacing slower, the world more like a stage set than a lived-in town. And this is where the emotional twist comes in. The episode isn't punishing Bart, it's exploring what happens when one variable, even one as messy as Bart, is removed from a delicate emotional ecosystem. It's a world without unpredictability, without resistance, without the thing that makes life feel truly alive. Marge and Homer have it all. But the absence of Bart's energy creates a kind of stillness that's eerie, because Bart may be a troublemaker, but without him, what gets lost isn't just noise, it's motion, emotion, messy, beautiful humanity. In the vision of this alternate timeline, Bart isn't dead. He isn't erased from existence. He's just not a Simpson. He's out there, still in Springfield, but living a very different life. He is not growing up with Homer, Marge, Lisa, or Maggie. And here's the twist. He doesn't seem entirely miserable. In fact, he's the same Bart we all know and love. He is just not part of the Simpsons family. What happens if this now perfect family has Bart interfere with their perfect life? Remember, in the Simpson household, without Bart, everything is thriving. Marge is at the top of her career, a celebrated veterinarian, respected by her peers, energized by her work, and emotionally fulfilled. She's no longer burdened by the chaos of raising Bart. She has time for herself, for her marriage, and for Lisa and Maggie. Homer has never been happier. Gone are the days of toiling at the power plant. In this world, he works the soundboard at a massive sports stadium, a job he absolutely loves. He's surrounded by energy, noise, and the rush of live entertainment, and he's good at it. Their relationship as a couple, stronger than ever, without the stress and conflict that Bart often brought into the home. Homer and Marge are playful, loving, even romantic. They flirt, they kiss, they act like two people who still like each other, not just co-parents grinding through daily chaos. Lisa, without Bart's disruption or competition, flourishes. She soaks up attention from her parents, succeeds academically, and glides through her days with confidence and clarity. Maggie thrives too, quiet, observant, and cared for. But even as things look perfect, there's something missing, something emotional that starts to gnaw at the edges. In the Bartless world, Lisa is thriving. Without Bart in the family, she receives undivided attention from her parents. Her talents are recognized, her accomplishments shine. No more interruptions, no more sibling rivalry. On the surface, it's a perfect life for a gifted child. But as the vision unfolds, Lisa starts to notice something she can't quite name. It's not that she's sad, she's succeeding by every measurable standard, but something is off. A dullness in the joy she used to feel, a missing spark. Her world has become too clean, too logical, too expected. What's missing isn't Bart's competition, it's his chaos. The jokes, the randomness, the energy that once made her roll her eyes, but also made her laugh. Bart's presence injected play into her world of order, and without it, Lisa's emotional life is stable but limited. That's the twist. Lisa isn't suffering in this reality, but she's not living in it either. Not fully. Bartless shows us that chaos, when it comes from a place of love, isn't destructive. It's liberating. And for Lisa, that means embracing the fact that Bart was never the weight pulling her down. He was the wave pushing her forward. And once that realization hits, that fun, humor, and even mischief are part of a whole emotional life, the vision can't hold anymore, because perfection might make you proud, but it'll never make you laugh. So who is Bart Simpson? Really, to some, he's just a troublemaker, the prankster, the kid who always pushes boundaries and tests everyone's patience. But Bartless reveals something deeper. Bart isn't just the spark of chaos, he's the spark of life. What we see in this alternate world isn't a tragedy, it's comfort, calm, stability, but that's what makes it so chilling, because the Simpson family doesn't fall apart without Bart. They simply flatten. They function, but they don't feel. Bart's absence doesn't cause pain, it causes numbness. Without him, the family becomes a version of themselves that's easy to manage, but hard to love. Marge becomes passive, Homer becomes comfortable, but unmotivated. Lisa succeeds, but loses laughter. Maggie watches it all silently. And that's the power of Bart. He doesn't exist to create conflict, he creates friction. And friction is where growth happens. He challenges Lisa, he frustrates Homer, he worries Marge. But in doing so, he forces each of them to show up, to stretch, to engage. Bart brings noise, but that noise carries warmth, humor, humanity. Without him, the Simpsons don't suffer. They slowly fade. Think about Lisa. She doesn't hate the Bartless world, she thrives. But she also begins to miss the parts of herself that only came out when Bart was around. The wit, the resilience, the unplanned laughter. He doesn't just annoy her, he activates her. That's true for all of them. When Bart is reintroduced to this now perfect family by accidentally hitting Bart with a car in this episode, they take him in to take care of him. He starts to cause chaos, which slowly starts to unravel the family. However, Marge rediscovers her voice because of Bart. Homer is forced to care again. Lisa learns to let go and have fun because of Bart's chaotic personality. He isn't the problem, he's the pulse. He's the reason the family doesn't just live together, they evolve together. And that's what Bartless tells us. Being better behaved isn't the same as being more alive. Peace without personality isn't peace, it's sedation. And Bart, in all his wild, chaotic glory, is the one who breaks that sedation. He keeps things messy, and that mess is where meaning grows. Bart represents the kind of energy we often try to control, but that we secretly need. The energy that makes people laugh unexpectedly, that shakes you out of routine, that brings you back to what matters, even if it annoys you on the way there. He's not the glue that keeps the family stuck together. He's the spark that keeps them moving forward. And once he's gone, they don't just miss him, they miss who they are with him. Because sometimes the loudest person in the room isn't the one ruining the vibe, they're the one giving it soul. On the surface, Bartless might seem like a one-off episode, just another Simpsons what if. But fans of the show know better. When The Simpsons experiments with alternate realities, there's almost always something deeper going on. In this case, the episode isn't framed as a literal alternate timeline. It's more of a vision, a stylized emotional simulation. Others believe the episode taps into a much bigger Simpsons motif, the danger of chasing perfection. This isn't the first time the show has explored timelines, illusions, or ideal versions of life. Think Holidays of Future Past or That 90s Show. The real twist in Bartless is that the idealized version of life turns out to be emotionally incomplete. There are even fan theories suggesting that Springfield itself bends reality around the emotional needs of its characters. In this reading, Bart doesn't just vanish from the family, and the universe rewrites itself around the question, what if things were easier? The answer it gives, you'd lose who you really are. That realism has led fans to interpret Bartless in fascinating ways. And that's what makes Bartless so resonant. It's not just about Bart, it's about all of us. The parts we think are too much or too loud, and what happens when we try to edit them out. Because sometimes what looks like disorder is actually the structure that keeps us whole. So what does Bartless really mean? It's not a story about erasing a character. It's a reflection on chaos, on contrast, and on the emotional texture that makes life worth living. The Simpson family without Bart doesn't collapse. They succeed, they find stability, but they also lose something they didn't realize they needed, themselves. Because Bart doesn't just shape the family, he awakens them. He stirs the calm. He injects humor, unpredictability, and emotion into lives that would otherwise drift into complacency. The twist? This entire vision was a dream that Marge and Homer dreamt, and the story that unfolds is an emotional test, one that helps each of them realize that Bart's chaos wasn't the thing holding them back. It was the thing pushing them forward. Lisa learns that thriving isn't enough. She needs laughter. Marge learns that calm isn't the same as confidence. And Homer, he sees that comfort without purpose is just stillness in disguise. In the end, they don't just want Bart back, they want themselves back. The version of themselves they are when Bart is around. Messy, loud, loving, real. Having this experience made Homer and Marge realize that not only do they love Bart, but they also like him. And that's what Bartless delivers. A subtle, powerful reminder that chaos, when it comes from connection, can be the glue that holds us together. Bart may be the spark that starts the fire, but sometimes a fire is what keeps the heart warm. If this episode made you rethink your own version of perfect, let us know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and check out our last episode where The Simpsons predicted the exact time of a nuclear war. And remember, sometimes the problem in your story is actually the piece that gives it soul. And remember, keep watching the skies, and The Simpsons Hidden Timelines.